So today I'm going to handle a topic on data storage, specifically on cloud storage. So let me begin. So we have all seen the evolution of how data storage has come over these years. Like for example, a few of us would have even seen this 8-inch floppy disk that we have used already. And we have moved forward to the pen drive, to the micro SDs, and now we are talking about something called cloud. Until cloud, we were all discussing memory in terms of a physical device. So over the years, we have evolved as memory in a physical device, and now we are talking about something cloud, which doesn't have any. I mean, we don't relate it with any physical device that we can have it in our hand. Okay, and also initially we can see that the memory that it was able to handle was only 1.2 MB, which is quite equivalent to a size of one image. But now we are talking in terms of gigabytes, terabytes, zettabytes. And with a physical device, there is a cost involved because we have to get it, we have to put that into memory. But now moving to cloud, at least the few amount.
Faustina, just a minute, Faustina. Faustina,
Yes, ma'am.
See, I request all the participants to please mute your audio because when we are recording also, this becomes a problem and the recording is also not clear. So we request you all to kindly mute your audio. Thank you. Yes, Faustina, I can continue.
So with cloud, at least the initial amount of storage, we get it for free. So there are many advantages and also disadvantages, which I'll be talking to you about. So let me move. So what is cloud? So cloud is storing data in some remote location, which you can access from any of your device. So it can be your desktop, it can be your laptop, it can be your phone. So using any device you can access, but it is stored in a remote location. So it may sound a little odd because we have a physical device in hand, like your pen drive or your micro SD. You know that it has your data and you have it in your hand. But having it stored in a remote location, even though we are able to access it, there is a point called trust that we have to make sure. So we are always scared of where exactly that particular data is being stored. It is going to be my own information. What if somebody is going to see it and all that? In today's scenario, we can talk about cloud storage to be one of the big market players. So there are many competitors with respect to cloud storage providers, and all of them have their very main factor to be security, because they want to have security to the highest levels so that they can compete with their peers. Okay, so as of now, cloud storage is secure, but we can't really avoid few circumstances, but they have made sure that there are more security features imbibed in the cloud storage. So the remote location that I'm talking about can be any servers. We don't know where they are. So all those will be maintained by the providers themselves. Okay, so as said, it is somewhere over there, somewhere in the world. Maybe our file may be somewhere stored in a server in the United States or the Europe. We don't know, but we know that at least that it is safe, and it is surely safer than having it in our own hard disk drive, because even if there is a data loss, the cloud storage providers have a mechanism of backup wherein they know, or they're assured that the data is safe. Okay, so why do we want to go for cloud storage? First one is a universal file access. As I said, you can access it through any device. So you can work in your laptop at home. You can access the same file at your workplace from the system that you have over there. You can access it through your phone. So it has a universal file access. And then enhanced security. So as I said, all the cloud storage providers have a certain level of security so that they make sure that your data is safe. Simplified convenience. As teachers, for us, I feel how cloud storage is useful is that we all work on some presentations to be worked out in the class, some work that we do both at home and college. So we would have to have a physical device, or we would be carrying our own laptops back and forth from your home to the workplace, which I think cloud storage will avoid. Because we can work at home, we can work on the files, we can just put it in the cloud and go to a workplace, download them, use it. So vice versa, we can do. We can just put it in the cloud, then again download it, work it, then put it again in the cloud. So the absence of physical device makes it very convenient for us. Then cost saving. As I said, the initial amount of memory comes free. So when we start working, if we are comfortable working with the cloud storage, then We can upgrade ourselves, for which we have to definitely pay. But the initial memory that we get is free. So there is an amount of cost saving that we can have. So there are many popular cloud storages available. So these are the top three that we have right now: the Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. So Google Drive tops the list among Dropbox and OneDrive. The main reason being Google Drive offers 15 GB free space, wherein OneDrive offers only 5 GB and Dropbox offers only 2 GB. And also Google Drive has a complete set of Office tools. So with that, you can create documents, your slideshows, and also your Excel sheets. So all these come along with the Google Drive, along with a 15 GB of free cloud storage. So there are two ways in which you can access Google Drive. One is directly in the web, and other one is in your computer. So in the web, you access using drive.google.com. I think many of us would have used it, because when we try to send attachments of more than 25 MB, automatically your Gmail puts your files in the Google Drive. Okay, so we would have come across a Google Drive online. The other is when we have to sync our files from our computer to the drive. In that case, we require a desktop app. So I'm going to show you how exactly to install this desktop app and how we can sync our files from our local computer to the cloud storage which Google Drive gives. Okay, so there are three things that you can do with Google Drive. First one is you can sync the available folders in your computer. For example, you have folders like the desktop folder, your My Pictures, My Documents. There are folders which your computer always has. That is the already existing computers. Already existing folders. So even that folders, you can sync it using Google Drive, which is the first one. Second one is there is a virtual space created in your computer where you can just put files into that, which will directly sync it to the Google Drive. So the first one is already available folders, or any folder that you have, you can sync it. The folder itself will be taken, a copy will be maintained in your Google Drive. The second one is there is a space given in your system for Google Drive. You can just drag and drop files into that, whereas it will directly sync into the Google Drive. And the third one is, as I said, you can work with the Office tools. There are three tools Google gives: Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. So you can directly work on them and save it in the Google Drive. So I'm just going to show you the demo. It's all going to be a series of screenshots. So first, I'm going to show you how a Google Drive desktop app can be installed. So we go to this particular link from where we can download the application. So a web page will be open. It'll ask for what reason you want it, personal or business. Obviously, it's going to be personal. So you click on the download button. So then it will download this particular file by name install backup and sync.exe. Okay, so I double click on that downloaded file. It will start installing. So once it starts install and it is completed, this particular screen will come up. I give get started, and then it will ask for a sign in. So Google, to access Google Drive, you definitely require a Google sign in. So you enter a Google account name, you give next, you give a password, you give next, and then it says this particular screen will appear. It says choose folders from your computer to continuously back up to Google Drive. So this part is the one which I was talking about, syncing your folders, the very first point that I told you. Okay, so I give got it. And this is what I told you. So my laptop has already existing folders like this: my desktop, the documents, the pictures. So by default, they will be selected. So if I want some other folder that I have to back up, that also I can do by giving this choose folder. So it will open up a dialog box where I can choose. So I have this particular folder which I worked on for this online workshop. So I have all my files of this online workshop in this particular folder. So I've selected that. I give select folder. You can see that is also appearing over there. I don't want the other folder, so I'm unchecking. So it is totally your choice. So it is not that you have compulsorily compulsorily sync these folders. Whichever you want, you do. Otherwise, you can just uncheck them. So for now, I've just checked this one single folder. Okay, and then I'm going to give next. Okay, and also you have options there. If, for example, if that particular folder has photos, it is asking whether it has to upload in a high quality or the original quality. So high quality is in the sense it will reduce the file size, because we know that there's only 15 GB of space, and in that 15 GB we would really like to have so much of files put in, right? Because it is free. because once it exceeds 15 GB, we have to pay for it. So we can have such compression options so that we can store more files in that available space. And also it asks if these particular photos or any images that are there in the folder which is being synced, in that case, it should be part of Google Photos. The 15 GB that Google is offering includes Google Photo also. So if you choose this option, it will be uploaded in the Google Photos also, and that will also be counted inside that 15 GB. Okay, so those options are available. I give next. So it says sync files. This particular page comes up, and I can give got it. Nothing, it's just an information that is coming up. I'm giving got it. Okay, so this is the second one that I was talking about. Sync my drive to this computer. I told you, right? There's going to be a space in your computer where you can just drop your files inside this, which will directly sync or store it in the Google Drive. So I'm giving options for that also. I'm just checking that particular tick mark over there. And it is also showing me that folder location where that the virtual Google Drive exists. So this C:\users/user. The user is going to be your account name, the account of Windows that you use for logging in inside your laptop. Okay, so that is going to be that user/Google Drive. So this Google Drive folder will automatically open. I will show you. So inside this place, you can drop in folders which will automatically sync to Google Drive. Okay, so then I give start. So you can see that I gave that online workshop folder for syncing. So you can find out there is a syncing symbol that is coming, the two blue arrows that come up. So it shows that the syncing has started. And once I give that, I mean, automatically this particular place comes in. This is what I was telling you about the virtual space inside your computer where you can drag and drop your files. And also there comes this particular pop-up which asks that if you want to go open Google Drive. So this will take you to the Google Drive on the web. Okay. So now I'm going to, And once after you install, you can find out inside your start menu that you have those files created. So under backup and sync from Google, it doesn't have the name Google Drive here in your system. It will have the name backup and sync from Google. And also you can find Google Docs, Sheets and Slides are also put up over there. Okay. Okay, now how to sync a folder by yourself. Now while installing, we had given I have to sync this particular folder and we just started. Now what if I have to sync another folder? In that case, it is quite easy. Just right click on that folder and you can find an option Google Drive coming up. So since we have installed, it will come up in your menu. So you just give Google Drive and give sync this folder. Just click on it. That's it. You can find out that syncing symbol coming up over there. So you need to do anything at all. It will automatically go sync into your particular Google Drive. Okay. So how can I view this particular drive online? We always make sure that whatever I'm doing is there also. Okay. We always make to have an assurance of that. So how can I do that? That is also quite simple. Just right click, give Google Drive, and then you can see visit Google Drive on the web. And you can find out that these two options didn't come up when the folder was syncing. So only after the folder is syncing, you would find this green tick appearing. So only after the sync is completed, you can find those files in the Google Drive. Okay. So while syncing, this option didn't show at all. The visit Google Drive on web option didn't show at all. So you have to wait for it, wait for the sync to complete. After the blue tick appears, then you can visit Google Drive on the web. So I'm clicking over that. It will take me to this particular Google Drive on the web. Okay. So so you can find out under my laptops, you can find that particular folder that I had synced. Online workshop was the name of the folder I was syncing. Okay. So it is under this computers. So you can find out that is a separate part that comes inside Google Drive. So inside my computers, you can have it. So similarly, you can have a file sync from many other computers. Like for example, if you have another computer in your workplace, you want to sync files there, it will appear under computers, but in a different way. Okay. So the next part, the second point, how can I directly put files into my Google Drive? So remember I was talking about the virtual space inside my computer where I can just drop files. It will directly go to my Google Drive. So this is the location, as I told you, C drive, users, the name of the user, that is the account name of your Windows login, and then a folder by name Google Drive will be automatically created once you install Google Drive. So the getting started file that you can see there with the tick mark was already there. Okay, and now I've just dragged and dropped one sample file. Okay, you can even create a file directly inside the folder, or you can work on a folder outside this particular folder and also put it inside. You can just copy and paste it inside this space. Okay, and you can see that the syncing symbol has started. You can find out in the icon that there's a blue arrows showing up. Okay, so the sync has started. So now I want to check whether it is gone there. So I'm again opening Google Drive on the web. You can find out the sample.txt. But this time you can find out it is not under computers, but it is directly under My Drive. So there are two things that you can see in the left side of the screen, My Drive and computers. So computers part will help you to sync folders of your computer. And if I'm putting files in that particular virtual space, in that case, that I can access through My Drive. It is similar, I mean, it is the same way in which you put files inside My Drive also. Like, for example, you're working on some file, you're uploading a file inside this space. That file, you can access it in your computer in that particular folder. So you can find it in this particular folder. Once you put it in your Google Drive in the web, that same file can be accessible to you in your computer here. That syncing will automatically happen. We needn't have any interruption at all. User interaction is absolutely not necessary. Everything will happen on its own. So it is just a virtual space in your system and on the web. So you can work on the web also. The same thing you can do in your computer also. Okay, so the connection between your computer and the drive is all what Google will manage, which we don't need to do. Okay, yeah. So this is about the My Drive. And similarly, we can also work on the Office tools. As I said, I'm just going to tell you how to work on Google Docs. So inside My Drive, it shows options for Google Docs. You can create a blank document. Okay, so you can similarly do for your Google Sheets, your Google Slides. Okay, this is as similar to how you work on your PowerPoint, Excel, and Word. Okay, so you choose Google Docs. You go with the blank document. It gets saved directly over there. Okay, and the same thing you can also access from your own computer, as I showed you before. When installing Google Drive, all these things automatically comes up in your start menu, correct? So that also you can click. So there are three options for Docs, Sheets, and Slides. You can click on them. It will take you to the browser where your Google Docs will open. So it is not a particular application that is there installed in your system, but it is just a point from where it will take you online. Okay, so you can find out there is docs.google.com that can open. It opens up like this. I'm just closing up this welcome to Google Docs. So this is how it will open up. So you can start a new document. You have a few templates, and you can also find there are recent documents, because I just now synced that online workshop folder to my Google Drive. So if there is any Word document that was there in that folder, they will all appear under recent documents. So you can even click on that and work online using Google Docs. So it is so simple, isn't it? So when we don't have Word, when we are on the go, we can just click on that, edit it, and save it in the Drive. Okay. So when I click on the blank, I can create a new Word document. It will appear over here. You can create your document, save it, and it will be directly saved under My Drive. Okay. So we needn't really, we needn't really copy files from here and there. We can just do it online itself and save it online. Just wherever we want to use, we can download it and use it. Okay. So that's it with Google Drive, the cloud storage. Before I move on to the next topic, should I open for questions, or once I'm done with this, I can? Any questions, or shall I move on, or I'll wait for questions at the end of the session? Okay, let me continue. I'll wait for questions at the end. So the second topic is on purchasing a computer. Maybe, I mean, it is quite simple to know, but there are few nuances that we have to really understand before we really think of buying a computer. So I'm just going to list out what's very important to know when we think about getting a new system. Okay. First one is you have to have a reason to get it. So there has to be a purpose. Obviously, without purpose, we're not going to get anything. So, but we don't really do so much of groundwork for that. We really don't look into. We just say we want to buy a computer. Okay, let's go. We buy. But we don't really have that particular groundwork as to why we really need it. So few people may only use it for emailing and browsing purposes, or some of you must be working on some basic documentations. You'll be using the, applications like the Word, PowerPoint, and all that. Or they may run some sophisticated applications which would require more space, and or some may be using it for gaming apart from the all other regular things that they do with the computer. Or it can be for the whole family, where maybe you would use for your teaching purpose, your the ones at your home will be used for some, will use it for some entertainment purpose. So there would be varied usages when we talk about a system, correct? So we have to make sure for what we primarily need it. So we have to first prioritize that need, and depending on that, we can just think about what we have to do. Okay, so there are two options that we have. We can either get a desktop or a laptop. So for example, if it is going to be something that is used by your whole family, then you can go for a desktop. Or if you are a person who's going to be mobile, so you are going to virtually take your system everywhere that you go, obviously laptop is going to be a good choice. But efficiency wise, we would always prefer a desktop, but laptop has the advantage of taking it everywhere. So depending on that, you can decide whether you want a desktop or a laptop. And also we have to choose the right operating system. So there are many operating systems that we know. The most famous ones are the Windows and the Mac OS. Both are equally efficient. They are high in performance. Mac OS is slightly expensive than Windows, but Windows is the most common OS that we have. And if you want to go for even cheaper versions, we can go for a Linux operating system, which is an open source operating system which you can install. So you can choose which operating system you want and check on the budget. So always we want a laptop to do this and that. We will have a lot of things to do with that. So as I said, we have to prioritize why we really need it and put in the budget that is required for that. Because high-end high-end systems, they are very expensive. So in that case, we have to really think, we want this, we don't want that or not. So all that depends on the budget. So that we have to really keep in mind, okay, the budget. Okay, then research the basic components. A computer is a machine. It has a lot of components put in together, which they've come up with a laptop or a desktop, right? So we have to know, be it a laptop, desktop, whatever it is, these components are common. So we have to have an idea about all these things so that it is easy for us to choose the best one. Okay, the first one is the hard disk. So the hard disk is nothing but it is the primary storage of your computer, so which is going to hold your files and folders. Okay, so these are the commonly used hard disk that we have now is this HDD, hard disk drive, and now we are evolving and moving towards this SSD. So this SSD is called solid state driver. So you can actually find the difference between the two. HDD has a disk. It is a mechanical operated disk. So you can find out it is something similar. To give an example, HDD is something like a CD. Your SSD is something like a pen drive. So we know that which is faster. So there are many advantages of SSD over HDD. SSD doesn't have any noise because HDD has a disk which has to revolve. So there's going to be vibration and noise, whereas SSD doesn't have. But the problem is it is quite expensive, but we are just moving from HDD to SSD. Okay, so we have to do these research so we can go and, when we are ready to ask, when you're going to buy for a computer, we have to ask whether it has a HDD hard disk or a SSD hard disk. So we would recommend that you move to the SSD hard disk, okay, because it is quite advantageous than an SSD. So, HDD. So, and also basically when talking about memory, a 500 GB memory is sufficient for the common usage, but when we are going to have any big applications or big files that we need to put in that case, we want to have a better hard disk. So maybe we go for 1 terabyte of hard disk. Okay, so basically 500 GB of hard disk would be a good one. The next one is RAM. RAM is called random access memory. So this space is where the temporarily accessed information will be put into. So for example, when you have some applications running, it is a RAM that will handle the information regarding those particular applications. So you would have known that when we open a lot of applications all at a time, our system will slow down. You will feel a sluggish, you will have a sluggish feeling when you move from one application to another. It is because you have overloaded the RAM. Okay, so RAM is another important component. This small thing that is holding is called the RAM. Okay, so RAM and 8 GB RAM is sufficient for common usage. Okay, but if you're going to, as I said, if you're going to have any high-end softwares running, in that case, we can go for double the size of the RAM. Then you have the central processing unit, CPU. So it is otherwise also called as processor. We know, telling it as a processor, it is even better known. That small thing that they are holding in the hand is that processor. Okay, so Intel and AMD are the main players in, manufacturing processors, and processors are the ones which are which are responsible for running the programs. Okay, for all the manipulations that you do, everything is all done by the processor. So that is a core component of your system. So yeah, Intel and AMD comes with a lot of processors options, and Intel is the forerunner. AMD is little cheap, but Intel has best features, and also it comes with a good quality. Okay, so it again depends on you, because based on the processors generations that we can see the evolution, the cost also increases. So it all depends on us and what usage we want to have. We can choose the CPU. And then comes the graphic card. So if you're going to work on multimedia applications, in that case, we have to really make sure that it has a good graphic card. Otherwise, it is not a more, if you're going to have it for a basic usage, we don't really have to bother about graphic card. Right. So if you're going to get a desktop, are we going to have it as a ready-made one or an assembled one? So, a few years back, the assembled ones were also famous because, as I said, it is all these components put together that we come up with the computer. So in that case, people would want to have the best of the components put together and have their system assembled. Okay, but then if they want to go for an immediate choice, in that case, they go for the ready-made ones. So even if you're going to get an already assembled one, which comes from a brand, in that case, you have to check for sure as to what type of a hard disk it has, the RAM memory, and all that. So you have to have them all checked. And if you're going to get a laptop, the first thing I would check, would recommend to see is for the battery life, because laptops are all mainly based on the battery life. So whatever your applications that you run, it will surely drain your battery. So when you're going to go on the mobile, we can't keep searching for plug points here and there. So battery life is one important point that you have to see. And one more thing is laptops are not quite easy to assemble because the components are all too small. It is different. It is different from the way a desktop is, correct? So in that case, it is quite difficult to assemble laptops. So that is why you have branded laptops. You can only see a lot of branded laptops. So in that case, you have to check for a lot of reviews. We know that we always see reviews. We check online reviews to get. So you just check for them, and also you check for all those components that I told you about the memory, about what type of a hard disk is that, and what are the other features that it has, about the battery life. So all such things you check online. So, and after that, you can choose whichever laptop that suits you, and also with respect to the budget. Okay, so these are few points that I wanted to tell you with respect to budget.